Good morning, Live, Learn, Grow. Checking in with everybody. All right, so it's been a minute since I've made a video, and the reason for that is because I just hadn't felt led to do so. You know, I have to keep myself in line. You know, this process, like I always say, most of you guys have heard, you know, that this came from God. You know, this isn't something that I concocted. So I always like to, you know, make sure that I'm in alignment and in order and not out of order, and like doing things of my own accord. And, you know, for those of you who get that, you'll understand what I mean by that, right? Like, I do not want to move in front of God. He is in front of me. This came from him. So if he didn't lead me to do it, then that means it's me doing it. And if it's me doing it, that means he's not in it. And if he's not in it, then it's just not going to work because it came from him. So I have to stay in a line and in obedience with what he's guiding and directing me to do. So therefore, if there's not something laid on my heart or impressed in my heart and mind to do, then I just won't. You know what I mean? Like, I'll put out content as I know it to be true, but as far as a video, whatever. So you get it. Anyway, so what I want to talk about today is just about going back to the beginning. You know, we go through so many different processes in life, and we can get so far removed from the beginning. And the reason why I say it's important to go back to the beginning is because you can fizzle out along the way. You can get drained just by the things that life will throw at you, right? And you get to the point where you just want to stop, or you want to quit, you want to throw your hands up. And sometimes when we feel that way, it's premature. It's just prior to the thing that we've been pressing towards. So if we go back to the beginning, we can remind ourselves why we started, right? We can go back to that infant stage and see it clearly with the new experience that you've encountered, right? So going back to the beginning, you know, I always use agriculture, right? But I heard this piece I'm getting ready to share with you, and it just rocked my world, even though it was kind of like, oh man, I knew that. But right, it was the beginning. It was that reminder. So what it is it's the soil time. Sometimes when it's dark and we think nothing is happening, and we think, you know, this is the end of whatever it is we're in pursuit of, we might just be in the soil, right? And when you're in the soil, it's not the end. It is the beginning. Think about a seed in its infant stage, in the very beginning of it. There's a coating around that seed, and everything that's in the seed is protected by that shell. And in due time, in its season, when it is time, the shell will be released and everything that's within it will come out. But the soil time must happen. Now, let's take a step back. Before we can be planted in the soil, notice I did say planted, right? We didn't just fall in there. We were planted in the soil. So before we get to that space, there does have to be, you know, some weeding and some, or not weeding, but tilling of the land, right? You have to find a viable space to put that seed so that it can grow, right? In a place that where it can be receptive, and the nutrients and everything that it needs is right there in that space. So until all those things culminate and come together, the seed doesn't open, right? The seed will stay contained and everything in it is protected until it's time. So if it feels like a dark place, if it feels like what you are looking towards, pressing forward, trying to do, your goals, career changes, whatever it is, if it feels like it's a dark place and it's dead, it might just be that you are planted. Now I want you to think about this. Even in the seed, when it's time for everything in the seed to come out, right, there is a death that happens. But not only is there a death, but there is a resurrection, right? So everything that is underneath that soil will come out above ground to be seen, to sprout, and take on a new life. So the end of the seed happens in the dark, in the soil, but it doesn't happen until it's ready to come out, and then new life can occur. So stay encouraged, stay motivated. Guys, I feel like, you know, I look at some of the things in my life right now, and it's almost like God is just allowing me to pick up where I left off. And it's pretty awesome. And that to me says it's the beginning. You can begin again. So don't lose faith. Stay encouraged. You know what I'm saying? Like, motivate yourself. plug in, work out, sweat, invest in yourself, because if you are planted, that is a season of investment. That is a season where you should be taking in as much as you can. So when it's time, you will be able to sprout and grow to the capacity that you were designed. All right, guys, have a great day. Live, learn, grow.